old train station here. If you see anybody staring at you, give them a nice happy wave. People love waving at people who are waving at them from a moving train. It also works with boats. Here we go. Welcome aboard the Narrow Gauge Railroad. Narrow gauge refers to the train tracks we're riding on. They're only 3 feet apart from each other. That's a lot narrower than the modern American standard gauge of 4 feet 8.5 inches. Like Caltrain, Amtrak, or Union Pacific, narrow gauge railroads are very popular for industrial railroads because they're a lot cheaper to build. You don't gotta clear as much land to build a narrow gauge railroad with the smaller equipment. You can also have tighter turns. This was absolutely ideal for the pioneering railroads of America and industrial railroads. Now in just a moment, you're gonna hear some Morse code. Morse code to the letter Q. Listen to the whistle closely, and you'll hear long, long, short, long. Did you hear it? Long, long, short, long. Morse code to the letter Q. This started way back in England when the Queen used to ride trains around. They'd blow that particular signal to get everyone out of the way. But it worked so well at gathering everyone's attention, it was adopted worldwide and still used to this day by modern railroads. A train that moves quicker than 15 miles an hour, they legally have to blow that signal for at least 15 seconds before they actually cross the road. That's why those horns are so drawn out if you live near train tracks. Because we gotta do that legally, sorry. All right, Doug's showing off for you guys. That's your engineer Doug up there in the red flannel. He's in control of the speed, direction, brakes, and the whistle. I'm the conductor. I'm in charge of when the train moves and stops, as you all just saw. Pretty cool, huh? Now in just a moment, our train's gonna enter a location on this railroad, imaginatively named Big Trees, because some of the oldest, largest coastal redwood trees left in this entire valley are in this next area, scientifically. Scientifically, these large trees you're about to be staring at are known as Sequoia sempervirens, which translates from Latin roughly as the always living redwood tree. But of course, we all know these big old giant trees out here as the coastal redwoods. And they're very tall. In fact, the tallest tree recorded known to man is a coastal redwood tree known as the Hyperion Giant, which measures over 382 feet tall. That's taller than the Statue of Liberty and the pedestal it's standing on. Now with these trees being so incredibly tall, you'd think they'd have some nice deep roots on them to keep them from falling over, right? Makes sense? Well, they don't. The roots only go down about 8 to 15 feet. Those roots then turn up towards the surface of the forest floor and spread up to 200 feet in every direction around them, interlocking with all the other trees around them as well and messing up the foundation to your house, creating a decent foundation. The reason why these roots are so shallow is the same reason why coastal redwoods only really exist about 2 to 10 miles from the coast of the Pacific Ocean. It's also the same reason why the leaves look like needles. It all has to do with fog. Every single night, fog rolls in over these magnificent trees and will be absorbed into the spongy bark of the redwood. It'll also be absorbed into the needle-like leaves of the redwood tree. But the excess fog will then collect up on those needle-like leaves, where it can easily drip down to the forest floor, where those shallow roots can efficiently pick up to 500 gallons of water a night. for these larger trees to survive. We're now entering big trees. Be on the lookout for the giant coastal redwood trees that are about to surround this train. Take a moment to look up there towards the steam engine. Now from this perspective, if you look to the left, you'll see just about nothing. But now you know the left and right hand side of the train, which I'll be referencing throughout this trip. Good job. For now, please have those tickets out and ready. That's right, it's ticket time. Oh no. Please have your tickets out and ready, and I'll be right with you to confirm you're on the right train or kick you off. Please have them tickets out. Thank you. For y'all right here. Perfect. Thanks for coming on up. Ahoy. Thank you. 2 tickets for y'all right here. Looks perfect. Thank you very much. 4. Yep, looks perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you are. Thank you. Now, if you're currently seated on the You're currently seated on the left-hand side of this train. You know who you are. You may want to have your video camera ready, because in a moment our train will be crossing the sharpest curving passenger-carrying trestle in all of North America. And y'all on the left are going to have a pretty good view this time. However, if you're on the right-hand side, don't worry. Because remember, you're going to see the same thing when we're coming down the mountain facing the opposite direction a little later. So left-hand side, this is your chance to get a video. Right-hand side, you'll get your chance later to sit tight. Patience is the key to life. take a moment to look at that old steam engine up there. Ooh, let me get out of your way. Look, there it is. Wow. Now, look at the last car in this train. Hey, all y'all down there in the last car, wave your arms around so people can see you. There you go, good job down there. Now, look to the right. Now I'm just messing with you. Right now, the locomotive at the front of this train is about 2 stories higher in elevation than everyone seated in that last car down there. Look at the angle the trees are growing in conjunction to your car. We're climbing up one of the steepest narrow gauge grades in all of North America right now. This is an 8.5% grade. Now what that means is for every 100 feet the train is going forward, we're also going up 8.5 feet. Thus an 8.5% grade. That's how you measure grades. Welcome back to algebra, sorry. Now this is incredibly steep for a train, especially considering most modern trains like Caltrain, Amtrak, or Union Pacific, they consider a 3% grade to be incredibly steep. About as steep as they go. But here we are climbing right up the side of a mountain on an 8.5% grade. And that's all thanks to the design of that very special locomotive up there known as a shade. That engine was designed to do this. In fact, we actually designed this railroad to push these antique logging locomotives to their full potential. This is basically a full-scale model railroad built to be a recreation of a logging railroad in the late 50s. We've been running it ever since. Kind of cool, huh? There is the letter Q in Morse code again. We just crossed the road. That's long, long, short, long. Remember, every train has to blow that signal every time they cross a road, day or night. Unless you're VTA. I don't know what's up with them. A little bit later, we will be going up the steepest narrow gauge grade in all of North America, but I'll warn you before we do that. Just keep having them tickets ready, and I'll be right with you. push the sand out of those hoppers into pipes. The pipes drop the sand on the head of the rail right in front of the rear wheel of that locomotive. As we're going backwards up this hill, if we're still moving, the locomotive will run over that sand, which will then crush and give us just a little bit more traction. And sometimes it's barely enough to make it up this 11% grade. All locomotives in North America have and still are equipped with sanders to this day. That's why you see the sanders at the train stations where the locomotives usually stop. Up the 11% grade on the first attempt. Knock on wood, cross your fingers, do whatever you do for luck, cause we're gonna need it. One thing to also consider is your poor engine crew right now. Right now your engineer Doug and your fireman Russ are sitting about 4 to 5 feet from a fire that's raging at 2,750 degrees to boil the water. The boiler itself is radiating heat at about only 500 degrees. And this of course brings the ambient temperature inside the small wooden cab of that steam engine down there to a nice comfortable 120 to 160 degrees all day long. So keep that in mind as we're going up the steepest pair of narrow gauge train tracks in this entire continent, fully loaded backwards on a curve for the 4th time today. That your engine crew is literally baking for your entertainment. But don't worry, we wouldn't be here if we didn't want to be. But now you know why I'm a conductor. Good. Wow. Huh. Did you all skip lunch today? Yeah, thank you. It helps because we're rolling into Hallelujah Junction in one try. Last trip took 4 attempts, and the trip before that also took 4. Let's give those poor sweaty guys in the cab a nice round of applause. They're showing off for you right now. That's probably one of the most difficult things you can do with a steam engine. Because if there's 3 things that steam engines absolutely hate, it's going backwards, going up hills, and turns. We got all 3 right there. Now with this, the train's not moving. It's a photograph. That's how that works. Or maybe you want to use the bathroom. We got one of those up here. If that ain't cool enough for you, we got a steam engine too. And if that ain't cool enough, we also have a 9,000-year-old cathedral grove of redwood trees that you're also welcome to visit while we're up here. It's the biggest, baddest cathedral grove on this entire mountain that's pretty accessible. In fact, we're going to cruise right next to it before we get to Bear Mountain. I'll point it out to you. Bear Mountain, we're going to come back around this hill on those tracks on the right, completely turned around. Now in a moment, we're going to be passing that 9,000-year-old cathedral grove of redwood trees. It'll be coming up on the left-hand side of the train just about when our engineer Doug is wailing on the whistle. So when you hear that whistle, first car, look left, and you'll see that giant circle of ancient redwood trees. It's pretty fitting. Oh. The locomotive is now passing that grove on the left-hand side. First car, look alive, on the left-hand side. Look for that giant circle of giant redwood trees. It's pretty hard to spot. It's pretty fitting calling it a cathedral grove too, considering we host weddings in this grove. Yeah, that's right. You can rent out this whole train, take your whole party right up to this grove. You park it just about here. Then everyone gets off into that grove. Have your ceremony down there, it's very magical. Then you hop on the train, ride it down to the train station where you then have your reception at the Brent Hart Hall 30 feet away from the train station. It really works out great because nobody's going to drive over creation, get lost, trying to find the reception like my cousin's wedding. I got to test out the whole system for myself February 22nd, 2020, right before the end of the world. Talk about being married to your job, huh? It's over. I know what I meant. Did you see how close the Grove was to the train? Right next to us, right? That means the Grove is right next to the train tracks. So if you'd like to visit that Grove, walk down the train tracks. Do not walk down the service road that does not have train tracks like half my passengers do, getting lost. Remember, the Grove's next to the train tracks. So you just walk behind this train along that fence. When the fence ends, you turn to the right, and you miss the giant circle of giant trees at that point. Good luck. But please wait for one short whistle blast before you stand and aboard these train cars. The public right. About 30 minutes from now, don't worry. Just don't miss that view coming up on the left-hand side. While you're all checking that out, I'm going to work my way up to the front because I got to do a roll-by inspection on this train. So in a moment, when you see me on the ground on the left-hand side, try not to get offended if I don't wave howdy at you, because I really want to. I just got to make sure we're all safe. Safety is the name of the game here on the steepest narrow-gauge railroad in all of North America. See you soon. Wastelands, full of nothing but stumps as far as the eyes can see for 3 days straight. So when she arrived on this ancient piece of property and saw these majestic, ancient, old-growth coastal redwood trees stretching as far as the eyes could see, well, Anna thought it was the most beautiful thing she'd ever seen in her entire life, especially after coming from San Francisco in the 1800s. Now, when her husband, Joseph, told her about his intentions to chop all these trees down, that didn't go over too well at all. Anna became awfully cross with him, rightfully so, and said something along the lines of, "It's a shame you're going to chop down all these trees, Joseph. When you're chopping them down, there ain't going to be nothing left for our children. You'll appreciate when they get older." That's about what she said. And on that day in 1867, something incredibly special happened. Something that didn't really happen every single day of the week in that time period. And unfortunately to this day, Joseph Welch listened to his wife. Take notes, gentlemen. Sorry. Thanks to Anna, all these trees were spared for future generations. And believe it or not, the Welch family still owns this property. This is private property. This ain't no state park. That's next door, Henry County State Park. Now, why are we here? That's a great question. Way back in 1959, our founder, Norman Clark, signed a lease agreement with the Welch family for 100 years, allowing us access to their beautiful family forest for 100 years to build this recreation of a logging railroad through it, to showcase these ancient trees and the abilities for antique locomotives to amazing people like you with a pink jacket, or you over there with that weird hat, or you over there with a red jacket. for any of you. So, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule today to come on down and experience the Redwood Forest narrow gauge steam train. Without the help and support of amazing individuals like all of you, we would not be able to keep these pieces of history rolling at all. So, thank you for coming on down. We really appreciate it. You are amazing. Maybe it crossed the road yet. Sorry about that. But the next time you hear that whistle, in theory, our train should be crossing the sharpest curving passenger-carrying trestle in all of North America. Again, this time, however, giving everybody on the right-hand side of this train a fabulous opportunity to get a video, just like everyone on the left-hand side had earlier, if you were paying attention to me. Sorry, left-hand side, you had your chance. This will be the right-hand side's chance. But please remain seated for the remainder of this trip, but in particular, on the trestle. The trestle is 210 feet long. It's also 42 feet tall. And it's a little difficult to stick the landing from 42 feet in the air. I knew a guy who tried once, the keyword there was new. So please remain seated. If you're concerned about me running around this train, hopping on and off like a wild man, thank you. I do appreciate your concern. But y'all don't gotta worry about me, because I have training. That helps keep me safe. We're not out of the woods yet, ladies and gentlemen. It's all downhill from here. Trestle down there. Engineer Doug should be wailing on that whistle in a few. Oh, there it is. Done this a few times. Alright. Now, I don't know if you ever accidentally boiled a whole pot of water down to nothing like I did last night attempting to make mac and cheese. But if you've done this, you'll find at the bottom of those pots is a whole bunch of random minerals that are naturally occurring in the water. When the water boils away, the minerals get left behind in the pot, right? Same thing happens when you get a leaky faucet. You get all those little crazy calcium deposits right there to the leak. Well, the same thing occurs to a steam engine. Yeah, especially after you boil away 700 gallons of water like we just did, going up and down this mountain once. It leaves a whole bunch of random minerals at the bottom of that locomotive's boiler that can really mess up that steam engine really bad. So because of this, all steam engines are equipped with a very special valve known as a blow-down valve. It's basically a large hole at the lowest point of that locomotive's boiler where all the sediment likes to build up. And when our fireman, Russ, opens up that special valve, it lets a whole bunch of water and steam jet out of the side of the boiler with 200 pounds of pressure behind it, taking all that sediment right out of the boiler with it in a gigantic cloud of steam, like you all saw on top of Bear Mountain earlier, remember? I told you I'd tell you about it. You didn't believe it, did you? It's okay. In a few moments, you're all going to have the opportunity to witness this. We're going to keep rolling forward here a little bit further. You're then going to hear the whistles. The whistles are a wonderful cue for all of you to start filming. Because about 25 seconds after you hear them whistles, our train's going to cruise right next to a little Band-Aid lake. And that's usually where our fireman, Russ, likes to let that blow down go down. So have your cameras ready when you hear the whistle, because you won't want to miss this. the special restaurant. If you're feeling a little hungry or thirsty after your incredibly long journey on our short railroad, you may want to stop by Georgie's Cookhouse. They should be open, offering the finest amusement park food and refreshments in all of Felton. And don't forget about that little museum I told you about in the back of the general store. It's definitely worth checking out. You know what? But as we roll into this old train station, please remain seated, especially as we pass through this next right-hand turn. This right-hand turn right here is the most dangerous turn on this entire railroad. Why? Well, that's because it's right next to Henry Cow State Park, and there's always a bunch of kids trying to hop on the moving train. It might come to a grinding halt if that happens. This turn is so dangerous. We've actually named it. We've named it the return. Alright. But seriously, we gotta line up this antique locomotive with that old water tower so we can fill it up with 700 gallons for tomorrow. So please do not stand until you hear one short whistle blast. And on behalf of our engineer, Doug, on the whistle, your fireman, Russ on the bell and blow down, and your conductor on the annoying voice, I'd like to thank you all for coming on down here today. I hope you've all enjoyed this trip and maybe even learned something. If you did, remember my name is Charles De Felipis. If you did not enjoy this trip today, my name is Sean Johnson, and this is Amtrak. Wait for one short whistle blast.